Well, the game film was interesting to watch in that as it didn't seem like we were doing as much offensively in the first half. We really moved the ball really well, and a lot of stuff was working, and guys were blocking well and running hard, and we made enough mistakes that kept setting us back, but. When we got down to settling in the second half, it showed up that we were able to move the football and felt pretty good about it, and turned out a pretty good game. The numbers in the game were really, pretty lopsided, and so you can see it when you watch the film. We did some good things. So it was a good game for us, good trip, to go out there and get a win and come back. And it's a long ways from home, and our guys handled it really well and played hard and tough and did what we needed to get done. Defense played a great football game and across the board, and special teams added to that. So it was a really good effort all in all, with stuff to clean up. And we were a little raggedy coming out of the bye, I guess, and hopefully we can put some of that behind us.
On the radio, you mentioned just the pass protection you thought was the best this year from the offensive line. I think just what did you see there? Who stood out in particular? And sort of
nobody stood out. They just did a nice job. It was part of the reason for making the comment about that is because of what the Giants do. They bring everybody. They blitz everybody. They give you every look. They're very aggressive with their calls. The second play of the game, they full out blitz, and they're coming after you. And so that meant that we had to identify really well. Russell and Britt are a big part of that, and they did a really good job. They picked stuff up, and the only time we got sacked was on a three-man rush when Russell was running around and doing his Fran Tarkington thing back there, and so. It was a really good game for our guys, and we threw the ball quite a bit, and they came after us. We had a lot of plays, and they had a lot of shots, and I was really fired up for us because we've learned a lot just in preparation for that game. You had to do so much. That'll help us down the road.
What did you learn from Posick and Glowinski at left guard?
They both did okay, and I was really fired up for Ethan that he played two spots. He was forced to jump in at center and did well, and jumped back at guard and did fine. He did a good job, and I'm excited for him. Glow played like he plays and hung in there and did fine, and so we're in good. That's good for us. We got a little bit better because we got two guys playing there that hadn't played a lot.
Doug talked about how excited they got when they saw cover zero on that touchdown. With Russell over the years in his development, just how good is he at recognizing pressure and then getting into the right call and taking advantage of this?
He has always had a knack for it. He's always had a sense, and he can tell when it's happening, and so he's pretty good at it, And we've had over the years, it's been something he's been able to do. That was a really beautiful illustration of executing right there.
on Glowinski and Posick, do you like those guys rotating there and alternating the way they did?
We'll talk about it Monday. Well, I don't know what we're going to do yet. But they're battling, and competing at the spot like we've been saying, and it's a good thing for us and a good thing for them, and we'll see where that takes us.
What kind of a challenge does that present? Swapping a guy every other series and handling that. What kind of mix does that create?
Generally, it's just kind of not what you do. It's kind of not acceptable. But if you just force your way into it, you can do it, and we just showed. There's a kind of a sacred chemistry in there that sometimes you don't want to disrupt. We've been through so much over the years. I don't know why we would fall into that category, but it was, it worked out just fine, and I was really fired up. Ethan's a very special player now for a rook to come in here and be able to play all across the board and do all that he can do and hang in there and make calls and communicate well and play good solid football. That's a lot to ask of him, and we're not slowing down on it. We're going to continue to hold him responsible for all that stuff because he can do it. But it was why we were so excited about drafting him. We were hoping that he would be that guy, and he has been that.
Seems like you have so many great leaders on this team. Doug Baldwin, just his value on and off the field, what's it mean to this team?
Doug is really, he's always been a leader, and he's grown through different kind of illustrations of that. He's always been such a tough competitor and such a hard worker and year-round guy and all that. He's been great. But as he's matured and just grown accustomed to his role and how he fits in, he's just become a really good guy on and off the field, as you said, in the locker room. He still leads by his effort and his toughness and competitiveness and all of that. But he has a very good head on his shoulders and good wit and good understanding of what's going on, and that's great in the locker room, and all that, but he's done a lot off the field as well, and he continues to excel, and you know, he's got a connection with the commissioner now, and continues to work, you know, to help what's going on there, and outside of that as well. He was invited to go to Arizona, I think it was today. He couldn't go, but to speak on behalf of, and you know, talking to a bunch of corporations and stuff. So he's doing a marvelous job. I'll mention ahead of you guys asking that, you know, the emotional stuff that happened on the sidelines was very quick and went. You know, we went right through it and got to our business. Doug was very forthright about, you know, saying he made a mistake and erred there, and that's not the way we want to handle stuff. But it was such a quick little exchange. I thought Tom was beautifully handled it and was very poised about it, and kept us right back on track and got us, you know, to the business at hand, and which everybody did. But this is an emotional team, you know, and we've seen that over the years, and you know, I think I probably stoked that as much as anybody. So I'm the one at fault sometimes putting us at our wits' end, but we got to learn to operate like that, you know, because sometimes that's just where you go. So, you know, I think it's behind us, and it's not a big deal at all.
When you go back and look at that second possession and the 10 shots or so you had inside the 10, what kind of stood out to you? What did you take away from that stretch and moving forward with it?
Well, we had some unusual plays in there that hit, and things that happened to us, and back and forth with the penalties and all that stuff. It just was kind of reminiscent. It kind of felt like the Kansas City Raider thing going on for a second there. But mainly we didn't get it knocked in the end zone, you know, and we should have. We had a chance in the throwing game. You know, Russ didn't quite get the ball as quickly out in the flat as we wanted to, and might have had a chance to knock in there. You know, we had another chance at the end after the quarter, you know, the other end, and Jimmy could have had a ball there possibly, and we could have run the ball into. So it was just we just didn't hit it right, you know, Bev used a bunch of stuff. We tried a bunch of different things there, and we just couldn't knock in the end zone that time. So,
when you address the emotion outbursts and maybe when they cross the line, how do you measure that with you want them being emotional and coming up to that edge? How much are you leery of not losing that when you do have to?
You know, well, I'm pretty even about this. These guys know how I am about it, and I expect them to operate at a high-pitched level of emotion, and expect them to be able to function like that. And I've numerous times over the time we've been together, you know, we talk about, yeah, sometimes there's that line, you know, and you can cross it, or you can be poised and not cross it. And when somebody does lose it or get across it, somebody else, the next one's got to take care of them right there. That's about rule number one in the program, about protecting the team. And if you're going to ask your guys to go that far, sometimes they are going to cross, and so we have to understand that. So maybe that's why there is some understanding, and we work with it, and we try to help our guys grow to become comfortable at a almost a frenzied pace at times, you know, and a frenetic mentality, you know, and so, you know, like I said, that's my fault. I mean, I'm the one that orchestrates that, but I'm okay about it because I think we can manage it, and I don't think we can. We have managed it, but at times, you know, we got to reel somebody back in, and our guys understand that. And you'll see other guys will jump to the opportunity. I mean, just look at last year. There's a great illustration. I couldn't have seen it more clearly. How guys jump to the cause and know, you know, we understand. That's something that's fun for us to push the limits. We're trying to get there and trying to see how far we can take it, and still function at an extremely high level. So,
Pete, your run defense has been pretty good the last 3 games. What do you feel like changed after that Tennessee game where they rushed?
Nothing. We just made mistakes in the Tennessee game. I think we got worn down a little bit in the first segment of that game. We gave up a couple plays that we would never give up, and it didn't look like anything we've ever seen on film for 6-7 years, you know, and man, looked like that since, you know, and so. I mean, if you take all the rest of the plays, we're doing a really good job, and it was just unfortunate that was just I don't know why that happened, you know, as it did, but it did, and it's behind us. So that doesn't mean that there's not going to be another long run. We're playing a team this week that has so many weapons and ways to come at you that, you know, the ball come flying out at you. But I don't think it's going to look like that in that fashion.
What stood out about the way the defensive line played yesterday?
They were really consistent, really disciplined, from inside out. From Jaron and Sheldon, those guys right up front started the whole flow of it. Michael played really hard and played well yesterday. Frankie did a good job on the edge, and it led right into KJ and Bobby. They played great in this game. They were tackling like crazy. The tackling was beautifully executed in this game, and just it takes great discipline to do that play after play after play. We've been doing this for years. This is how you play base defense. And if you don't play with great discipline, which is what showed up in those, in a couple of those plays that get away from you once in a while, you can't play at this level, and you can't play this base scheme like we do. We don't do a lot of fancy stuff. We play stuff really well, and we count on our guys to execute the heck out of it. And they have to be. It has to start right inside, from the middle on out. And that's why we really noting Jaron's play. He played very well, and so did Sheldon, and they just held it up. And when they play right, then the guys behind them can play right, and it all fits together very tightly.
Along those lines, to hold a team to 2 explosive plays, just how big a deal is that for you?
Yeah, it's huge. We had one earlier in the year. I think we held them to 0, but that's incredible football, and they're trying real hard too. They want to make plays. They need to get the ball down the field too. This was a conservative approach from the Giants. I mean, and it was working. They were in the game for quite some time. They were close, even at 10-7. They're right there. And so they held the game kind of in tact. For I think the way they wanted to approach it. I think they wanted to keep us from being explosive and doing what we might do. But. Yeah, it's very difficult to do that with the athletes and the players and the schemes and the coaches and all that.
Pete, going back to the play of the D, was Cam Chancellor closer to the line than he normally was this game or not? And how did you assess his play?
Cam played really well. No more so. He fit the scheme together, for the opportunities and the situations and stuff like that. He's moving in and out depending on what's going on, about the calls and what's at hand, but no more than normal. But he did play really well. He made a couple big hits, great third down stop, and just some other plays. And he was in some really active spots in the defense in this one. So he came through very well. He feels good. He had he was a little sore going into the week, but he came out great and came out of the game in good shape too.
You had 4 running backs in your first 4 plays. What were you seeking with that?
4 running backs in the first 4 plays. Exactly that.
Hoping to accomplish.
I'm not sure I know how to answer that. What I'm hoping to accomplish. I want to see all 4 guys right off the bat. You don't know who's coming in and what we're doing, and we're just trying to keep them off balance a little bit. There's some thoughts in there that I really don't want to share with you, but also it's not that big a deal really. We got 4 guys we liked, and unfortunately, one of them couldn't hang. CJ got hurt again and couldn't stay out there. We'd have kept mixing them.
What is CJ's status at this point for you? Is it?
We have to wait and see. Don't know. He got 2 plays. I thought it was 1. He had 2 plays, and on the pass protection, he loaded up and just tweaked a little bit. Didn't sprain his ankle, didn't re-injure it, but it tweaked and showed it wasn't as stable as we had hoped. And the work that we had done in practice wasn't indicative of what he was needing in the game, obviously, because it didn't hold up. So we'll just go through the week and see what happens. It's one day at a time. And I think he'll be able to practice again. I think he'll be able to get back out there. We'll see what it is, and we'll have more insights now to know what he can handle. So maybe he can play this week, maybe he can't. I don't know.
What do you think in general of where your running game right now, kind of where it is? And how
I think we're moving. We're moving, and we need to keep going. I think we need to. We still ran it 30-something times. So we ran the ball a lot, but. I still think we're mixing it and kind of finding our way, and working at it. Thomas and Eddie both had the ball the same amount, and both banged it up in there well, and both looked good, and did some good stuff. And so, I think we're still developing. I still feel like we're finding it, which I'm fine. I'm comfortable about it. I got no problem with it. We'll see what happens.
How did Justin Britt, he left for those few plays, how did he kind of come back?
Got sore ankle today. Yeah, he's sore. We won't know about Justin until later in the week. Each day will tell us something, but, I wouldn't think he'd have a chance to practice till Friday or something like that if he can. We'll see.
You had some other guys who were a little dinged up. Jaron, Tyler, all those guys?
Yeah, Tyler had the wind knocked out of him. He was okay. Jaron came out okay as far as I know. You'll see a couple of the guys, as we get through these next couple of days to see what happens. But everybody came back okay except for Britt. He looked pretty sore.
How did Ethan handle those couple snaps at center when he did?
He did fine. He did fine. That was really encouraging. He jumped right in there. Russ was coaching him up and hollering at him and stuff on the sidelines, getting him warmed up, and out they went, and he did fine.
What's the nature of Britt's injury?
He's got a sprained ankle. It is not the high ankle sprain; it's the lateral one.
You've seen Shaq Griffin now play a good chunk of several of these games with a few starts. How impressed are you with the way he's handled that and to be at this level this early into it?
Yeah, I continually am impressed with that he's holding up such a consistent level of play, and he's getting checked out too. He's getting opportunities and all that. And I think Andre Curtis and Chris and defensive coaches are doing a great job. For him to be playing at this level, I mean, he is aggressively playing. He's not just out there surviving it. He's going after it and taking on the challenges, and he's played very consistently. So that's what's really impressive, that he hasn't wavered at all. And I don't see him. I think 6 games into it, I think he's going to be okay. I think he can hang in there and maintain against whatever the matchups are. We'll see. It'll be another great one this week, and be interested to see how it goes. But I'm really very confident in him at this point.
You used Bradley McDougall quite a bit. What did you like, or what did you think of how that?
He's a good player now. Everything he does is good. He tackled really well, made a couple good coverage plays, communicates well. He's just a good football player, and it's really comfortable for us to have him on the field.
Given your focus on finishing, how nice is it to see the fourth quarter score differential this year for you guys? Something like 53-9 or something.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're looking for. It's what we hope to post numbers like that. That's okay, that's up to now. It doesn't mean anything going forward, but finishing is a big deal, and we make a big deal about it and execute down the stretch. And so, when you have, does that mean we haven't given up a touchdown? I don't know if that means that. That's great play on that side of the ball, and it's good play on the other side. But it's playing together as we finish these games. I mean, as we've all noted, we've not played as smooth early in games, but we have finished very well, and that will be hugely important as we go through the schedule. And all of these games will call for that, and that's why it's been such a big deal to us. And it'd be nice to start a little cleaner and all that, but really it's about how you finish.
You mentioned this morning about Thomas Rawls being a little overamped on occasion.
That's kind of the way he is.
Is no turning down from 11?
No, I don't think we want to do that. I think we want to just go along with him, and he'll find it. He's an extraordinary player and competitor. He just plays at such a high level, and he cares so much and plays so hard and so tough. I don't want to take that away. I love it about him. That's why we found him in the first place. Because he was so physical and tough playing in college, and the way he went after the guy in the screen pass was just what I saw. When he was playing in college and loved, and there'll be times. You got to set the tone. That's what he's doing. He's setting the tone for how he wants to attack, and then he'll make those guys miss at times.
Did you see in the film when the fumble? What happened?
I guess it was Pierre. He got his helmet right on the ball. I thought one of the other defenders, was pulling across his helmet and yanked his head right at the end of the ball, and it all happened at the same time. I don't know if that kind of gave him a little bit of an opening there or not. You couldn't see it to call it, and I can see that. But he got in a really unusual situation, kind of yanked this way, and then the helmet hit on the ball, and the ball got knocked out. He's really good with the football in general, and it took an unusual play like that for that to happen, and it was unfortunate. It was a big play by them, obviously.
You haven't had much time, but Deshaun Watson, your early impressions of him?
Yeah, I've already jumped all over that. He's really good. He's got terrific numbers. He's 15 touchdowns and 5 picks. He's right around 100. In his ratings, and he's averaging over 7 yards a carry. So yeah, I've already checked him out pretty. Yeah, he looks good, and they run a lot of offense. They have a lot of stuff they do with him, and not hesitant to have him run, take off, and design run plays as well. It's a very difficult attack, and they've been very explosive. So it's going to be a real challenge for us.
Anything else?
See it.